want to switch it up now, Ruthie, to yourself now and minding yourself and others. How do you look after yourself now daily in terms of exercise and food? And
I do, I try to do, I pray in the morning, I do meditation, where I just really just try to do a self-check every day. I almost like looking in a closet, looking into my shelf and say, what do I need to take off? An assessment. What do I need to put up there? And I try to do a self-assessment every day. I don't want to ever get to a point. The moment you get to the point, the same as when you play the game, you get to the point that you've arrived, that you're perfect, that everything is, you ain't got, then that's the moment you feel. That's the moment things gonna creep in. I think that's the thing, that when the devil gonna creep in and make you think that you arrived, some things gonna come. So I try to stay humble at circumstances. And so what I try to do is start the day off with a good mindset. Say, you know what? I choose whether I'm gonna be happy today. I choose where I'm gonna have joy. I might not be happy with everything that happens, but I make a decision that this is gonna be the best day of my life. I make a decision that I'm gonna find a miracle today. There has to be a miracle, this little miracle every day. It doesn't have to be something descending from the sky, bright lights or something major. To me, there are small miracles that I think we need to identify, and I do. And I think about my kids are healthy. I wake up, I say, I'm good. I got my right mind. I know who I am. And to me, and your mindset is so important. And so that's what helps me get started. And then, of course, exercise. I love exercise. I was just feeling smart. I said, man, I should go out and run in the snow. It's cool. It's like 20 some degrees here. And I'm like, I got to get some exercise. If I don't go outside, I'm going to do some push-ups, sit-ups. But that keeps me accountable to me. It keeps me accountable to who I am. And it keeps my mindset. And I always, and I tell when I work out, I have to work out at least now 1 day a week, or 2 days a week. I work out sometimes 4 or 5 days in a row, but it has to be at least 2 days in a row that I push myself to where when I'm working out, I feel like I want to quit. Because guess what? If you don't push yourself, if you don't challenge your mind and your body, if you don't feel like quitting something, you're not working hard enough. You'll leave a room, you are saving room, you are saving. But it's like, if I feel like quitting, but the key is not quitting. So I like to push myself to a certain extent from a physical standpoint, at least 1 day a week where I feel like I want to quit, because it gets my heart rate up and it just really challenged me, and it gives me this, it reminds me of the grit that I had when I played. And so those definitely things. So praying, getting up, and then exercising, and then also giving back. Like I try to edify someone every day. And at first I said every other day, but I try to edify someone, whether I send a message or a quote, or whether I call them and say, hey, I'm just thinking about you. I just encourage you. And most of the time, if it's laid on my heart to do it, they was like, wow, how do you know? So it's about trying to edify people and make them, because you never know, especially when everything's going on. And so I just try to, I just want to remind you how much you mean to me. So edifying people is very important. It's very gratifying to me to be able to uplift someone and know that just by your voice or by your mere presence that you liberate people.
Yeah, like Ruthie, there's so many things that you've said there that are just so true, and there's nothing easy is worth doing. And you look phenomenal, so I don't believe you that you only work out 2 days a week.
I wish I could show you guns. I got them in the holster.
Good. But the one thing I want to take from that is communication, and how important it is now, not just now, but every day. Like, how important is communication for you and for others, to make sure that people just talk? It's so important, isn't it?
Communication is really important, and I just encourage kids to sort of speak up. And there's a lot of ways. You might not be as talkative as someone else, but find your voice. Find your voice, and don't be afraid. What are they going to think? You got to have your voice, because the moment you come mute, you set yourself up for when you don't share, you set yourself up for being taken advantage of, different types of abuse. Things happen when you quiet. And the thing about it is that I just encourage him. I said, speak up. And you might not, like I said, I was a lot quieter than my twin brother, but speaking up, I spoke up in a way that I exude my talent and my gifts, and I got on a platform of playing basketball. But I encourage kids that if you, sports speaker, you can write. I have over 20 journals that I've written in through the years, and that when I was quiet, when I couldn't find my words to say, when I was a little bit timid, I wrote. And that was so therapeutic to me, to write in the journal. And I was like, wow. And I might be feeling a certain way one day, and I would write, so I'm feeling this kind of way because I don't know. Then as I continue to write, I said, I know why I'm feeling this way. I may think about, like, you know what, this is, this is, this made 10 years that my dad passed away, or this whatever, I know I'm feeling this way, or I only got, 4 hours of sleep last night, but I tap into me, and it's like it become a sounding board. So I encourage kids all the time, like one of my books called Journey with Me. It's a journal that you write. This is so therapeutic, and it's something that it does something internally for you. So you got to find a way to speak out, whether it's verbally speaking or it's writing, or maybe you could sing, or maybe you could do poetry. I do in my Aim High program I do with girls. I get them to bring quotes. I said, yes, I want you to let's figure out what this one quote means, and they love it. For the girls that are sort of quiet and don't say much, I said, just tell me. It could be one word. What does it mean? So finding something that you have a voice that nobody has a right to say you don't have a voice to speak up, and it might not disagree. It might not agree with what's they've been saying, but please. And I tell my daughter, 11 years old, I said, I don't care if someone. It can be a grown up. In a respectful way, if someone tell you 100 times that the sky is green, if you believe it's blue, say, I'm sorry, I appreciate your perception, but to me, the sky is blue. So I want her to still keep her voice and not ever lose her voice.
Absolutely. Communication is so important on and off the court, or on field if we're talking about different sports. What other traits are really important, do you think, on and off the court?
On and off the court is that I think that you got to sort of be true to yourself. It's just really like, sometimes you might pretend to a certain amount in front of people. You really got to be true to yourself. If you're going to ever, and it could be in the game. I know I used to watch video because my basketball career was like, I was behind the 8 ball. I learned late how to play basketball. What I did in high school was just mere talent. When I got to college, I didn't know a lot of the terms. And so I learned late, so I was behind on my shooting. So my point is that I had to watch video once I started playing with the national team. And I'm like, Coach said, you got to watch. Sometimes I watch some really ugly games. But it was the only way I could become. If she had to just sugarcoat it and say, you know what, you okay? No, I wasn't okay. I'm looking at video like, oh my God, did I play defense like that? I'm like, what was I thinking about? 2 for 11? Like, oh my goodness, my shot was just so ugly. It was straight. I would lean into one side. It was just a mess. So I watched video and I had to be true. The video don't lie. The video wasn't like, okay, yeah, that's me. Yeah, that's me. I didn't box out. Yeah, that's me. So I encourage kids, especially athletes. I said, watch yourself, because you'll say, oh yeah, the coach is just messing with me. I know I play better than that. I know, watch video. The video gonna tell you the truth. So I would say, be true to yourself. And there's a saying, I gotta say this, a saying my dad used to say, don't worry about what people say, as long as it's not true. So if someone says something, I'm saying again, don't worry about what people say as long as it's not true. If someone, so you don't have to worry about people judge you. Don't let people, see if I got some stickers. Don't let people label you for different things. You're not good enough. You dumb, you this and that. But when the coach told me I wasn't ready, that I was, I wasn't a good player, I'm like, that was labeling me, but it was the truth. I had to fight my way back. I had to, in life it's not always where you're going, but it's how you get there. So definitely being true to myself and recognizing where I was helped me to build and go somewhere. So definitely being true to yourself. Say, you know what? Yeah, I'm going somewhere. I want to get there. In order for me to get there, I got to recognize that, this way is not, I might have to pivot in a different direction to get where I need to go. But if you start lying to yourself, then it's gonna start you. It's gonna distort your process.
Absolutely. And those key points there are so important for any leader. Is there any leaders at the minute that you look up to, your mom and dad aside? Is there anyone out there who do a really good job being a leader and leading people, like in schools or in teams? Yourself being one of them.
I consider myself. I've done a lot of presentation on leadership, and it's funny. I said, man, I would have never thought as a little girl that I would even know anything about leadership, that I would be speaking on leadership. But my type of leadership might be different. Is leading by example. Like I was in the military, first lieutenant, and I look and I try to identify on the teams I played the morale of the team. And matter of fact, I'm working on a DVD, and one of the topics is going to be leadership and understanding your role as a leader, and that it might not be that boss. Look at me, I'm on top of the mountain. You do what I say as I do. Someone that demanding like that. But I was one to say that, you know what, I don't have to be in the front, but I want to help us get there. We're in this race together. And so I look at the morale. I remember Cheryl Swoops, and then she was, just obviously an amazing player, 3-time Olympian. She won WNBA championship, college. She was just an amazing player. And I know sometimes I said, Cheryl, I remember I was like, Cheryl, we were roommates a lot. And I was like, are you okay? Why you ask? I said, you don't seem like you yourself today. And she was like, oh, she would share with me. She said, you know what? Thanks for asking, noticing that. And then some of the other players I would ask, and I was always looking at that. And so that type of leader that I was, but I want to share a leadership role about one of my teammates, that Dawn Staley. Man, her leadership was just amazing. Was just it was just on a scale of 10, from 0 to 10 being great. She was just awesome. And I say that because I played with Dawn Staley, which is a quarterback of the team, like a leader, and I'm always respected. Like, most of my big shots, she passed me the ball. Okay, this one particular, we were getting ready for the Olympics in 2000, and we would have some tournaments prior. And this one of those games I was not shooting that well, and but I played a lot because of my defense. But the coach would jerk me out if I miss a couple shots, and and it's like, okay, go back in the game. So Dawn would pass me the ball sometimes, and I look at the coach, or she came to me and she pulled my shirt. She said, don't you ever, when I pass you the basketball, don't you ever look at the bench. Because guess what? She said, when you're on my team, if you're on the court with me, I'm the leader. She said, I ain't taking nothing from the coach. This is their team, but when you're on the court with me, I'm the team leader. I'm the coach. She said, if I pass you the ball, I want you to shoot. Because guess what, Ruthie? If you shoot, there's a good chance you're going to make it. I'm like, okay. And so that really relaxed me. And I made my next big shots. And matter of fact, my shot won the game. We were playing the Russians. And because she did that, because she showed that leadership and she showed that initiative, it gave me this confidence. And so I'm not surprised. So I sent her a text, and I sent her a picture. I always brag about how pretty her hair is. I said, one, I want your hair. And two, I said, Dawn, I'm not surprised that you're going to be our next Olympic coach. I'm not surprised you won the national championship with South Carolina, because your leadership and how you displayed on the basketball court were just amazing. So when I talk to teams, I always say, what's a playmaker? What's a point guard? I said, no, you're a playmaker. You make plays. And it's a tough position, but that leadership role on the court is just amazing. And off the court, I want to say someone that showed, and this is someone in the past, I have to say something about Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. I have to. And I know we're doing with girls in sports. You want me to say one about female? Or it doesn't matter?
You say whatever comes to you, Ruthie. Go for it.
But I would say definitely Dawn on the court. And of course, Teresa Edwards was a leader. I think off the court, I'm just going to plug in, since this is his holiday. And it's just a leadership watching. I had some of my kids watching, my daughter and my son watching his I Have a Dream speech, and just so amazing. And I started watching some of his other speech about what if I had sneezed. I watched one of his other speech about, I don't know the name of it, but it was something like, you might not always, how we go on. So that's why I said that the scary thing about setting goals. Oh, my goal is I want to be a doctor. Okay, that's a lot of work, and that's fine. And set goals and believe it. But in the process, don't miss out on the opportunity to grow just because you wait trying to get there. Don't stand there and dormant and not moving. He said, if you're a street sweeper, okay, that might not look good for somebody that's gonna be, but sweep the streets like Maya Angelou wrote poem. Sweep the streets like Beethoven wrote music. Sweep the streets like Michelangelo painted. He said, sweep the streets like it's never been swept before, that the heavens open up and say, you're the best street sweeper in the world. So don't miss out on opportunity to grow. So anyway, just watching him, and I think he was way beyond his time. And to have someone like that to really display leadership and just really instill, because I think leadership is just instilling, being an example and being humble, and someone that is like, meet people where they are, and not being critical, but someone say, and that's what I feel like great leaders are.
Yeah, 100%. I want to talk to you, Ruthie, about the t-shirt you're wearing and the WNBA, Her Time to Play. So we know that girls are dropping out of sport at the age of 14 twice as much as the boys. So I want to ask you, how can we keep girls in sport, in basketball, any sports? And tell me a bit about the Her Time to Play program.
Wow, I've been overseas for at least 10 years for U.S. Embassy, partnering with the NBA, doing different girls, doing clinics, and Bangladesh, Papua New Guinea, Africa, Russia, and the last one we were with, that we were in 2 different places, Kosovo, and that was just, I think it was her world, her game, let me see.
Her world, her rules.
Her world, her rules, man. It was, listen, I got some amazing pictures. We went to like 7 different schools, and at every school we gave them a color shirt, orange, blue, green. It was just so special. These girls to be in this atmosphere and to edify these young ladies, say, you know what? Hey, when I would talk to them, I said, listen, look around, look to your left, look to your right. Who do you see? Nothing but girls. I said, and Adrian was the only boy. Well, anyway, I said, isn't it awesome? Just girls. I said, this is your time to shine. I said, nothing. I said, I got a twin brother. I ain't got to take enough from the boys, but this is our time. I said, this is your world. This is your time. And I said, it's not being arrogant. It's not trying to say I'm better than you, but it's I have a place in this society. I have a place in this game. This game could be mine too. And so they were just, oh, you're excited. So we were flexing our muscles. You know what? I have loved playing the game, but to be able to be part of the legacy of really instilling these young ladies and edifying them and letting them know that they need people like us. Say, I give you permission to soar. I give you permission to shine. I give you permission to say, yeah, this is my time. This is my season. So it was just beautiful. And I loved it, taking pictures. We took pictures of our feet. And it just, to me, that's what it's all about. And the girls, I think we have to give them something. It has to be bigger than the game.
Yeah.
Some of those players could barely shoot a layup. Some of them not going to make it to the WNBA. That's realistic. And I told them, I said, some of you won't. I said, but the fact that this ain't about, I said, what we're doing is just not about basketball. And that's what you got to do. You got to give them, you got to teach them how to win. There's more than one way to win. And that's how you get them again, using basketball as a platform to look at me, they can have goals like, I don't care if we spend 30 minutes on layups. I'm not trying to teach you how to dribble between your legs, 2 balls behind the back if you can't dribble a straight line to the basket. No, we'll spend 30 minutes on dribbling, making layups. And to me, because you can feel accomplished, because you do too much, they'll feel like, why am I playing? I'm not good. But I want you to know that you got to make it a process, and you got to say, you know what? I don't want you to quit. I don't care how many shots you miss. You can miss 10 layups. I don't care. What I want you to do is not quit. So now you're building up the confidence, and you say, you know what? Yeah, I'm okay. Yeah, maybe I'm on a team, and maybe I didn't score any points, but there's another way I can score. There's another way I can win. There's another way I can help my teammates. Because sometimes coaches just focus on the superstars. The players that are talented, and they other ones don't matter. No, there's a saying that you're as strong as your weakest link. So we got to come together. We got to, especially at the girls' age, we got to say, hey, we can be true and honest, but we got to make it an experience. Yeah. We got to make it something that I want you to be able to talk about this 10 years from now with your friends, and I said, definitely not with your daughters because you're too young, but talk about this one day. Say, I played with the junior NBA and it was amazing. Okay, yeah, we were 2-10, but guess what? I met some great friends. I learned a lot about myself, so I just believe that has to create this, that we have to put emphasis on character. We have to put emphasis on self-awareness. We have to put emphasis, how can I be the best version of me in this setting?
Yeah, absolutely. And we need programs like her time to say, we need to get Ruthie Bolton over to Ireland. Hey, I invited you before this. I'm inviting you again on camera.
Hey, say it again in case you're not recording. Say it again. Speak up.
Yeah, you're coming over to Ireland. The minute we can get you over, we're getting you over.
I hope you have heard that.
Yeah, absolutely. But in 2018, we introduced in Basketball Ireland the Junior NBA program. So it was where schools got teamed up with clubs. They played basketball from the age 11 to 13, and it culminated into a festival of basketball, basically, in the National Basketball Arena in Dublin here, right? Where we've had over 2,000 kids play, and they loved it because they were so young. It was competitive, non-competitive. It got them in there. And I just think it's really important that we get kids at a really young age and grab their attention with any sport. If it's basketball or any sport, I think that's vital, isn't it?
Yeah, it's so important. And my daughter plays, and everybody said, your daughter play? She plays. She's not crazy about it. I said, listen, I'm not going to force my daughter to play basketball, but I want her doing something. She danced, and actually she's starting to say, now, Mom, I think I want to play. I wasn't going to force. I said, as long as you got a good attitude and you can do 3 sets of 10 push-ups, by the time you 11, always, because I put emphasis on push-ups, because it's the mind thing. It's a flexing your muscles from the inside, because I want her to be a fighter. I don't want you to be afraid to fail. I don't want you to be afraid that I might mess up. I don't want you to be afraid that I might miss a shot, because you're gonna miss a lot, but you can make more. And so, but we definitely got to instill in them, like, hey, you know what? This is your time. The game You know, we had a program, my sisters, rebuilding lives through sports. Sports is the most beautiful thing. It's the way to bridge the gap between countries and people. It is it's a universal language, and I love it. And so we definitely have to put emphasis on, like, hey, it's okay, you're not a superstar, and because everybody, they feel like they're not important, feel inadequate. You know, no, it doesn't matter. You got somebody scoring 25 points, you scoring 2. No, there's a place for you. And so I think if we have to put emphasis on that, so they can feel, and that's what I enjoy doing. That's what when I was over in Kosovo, that's what I feel. And I want to go back and see those girls. It's like, hey, I'm gonna come back, and because I want you to know you matter in spite of what happened. You matter because you're out here. That's why you.
Like, and there's so many different ways of expressing themselves. If it's like your daughter with dancing, or if it is in sports, you can be a volunteer, you can be a coach, you can be a referee, you can be a table official, and it's a family as well. You know, that's great. So we have sources that you're going to come over to Ireland. I'm happy with that.